Hey, before you check out this video, maybe go check out the new Discord. It is in the description. Thank you, and let's get right into things.
DC Circuit skeptical of Trump's immunity claims. So this morning, that was yesterday morning actually, three-judge panel of the District of Columbia Circuit heard oral arguments on Trump's claim of presidential immunity. The trial judge, Tanya Chutkan, denied Trump's motion to dismiss based on immunity and double jeopardy, and the DC Circuit has put the appeal on a fast track. They're expected to affirm. It's just a little bit of information about the judges. So an amicus brief was filed by the group American Oversight, and they made a strong argument that the court does not have jurisdiction to hear the appeal at this stage because presidential immunity is not explicitly guaranteed in the Constitution. This probably has something to do with which circuit of appeals it went to, or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of technical crap. I don't know what circuit is for what thing. I'm just going to have to assume that, yeah, it is a question that maybe they don't have jurisdiction here. So the prosecution agreed that Trump has a right to appeal.
Okay.
So both Trump and the prosecution agree that he has the right to appeal as to whether or not he has, they have jurisdiction. Or no, not as to whether or not they have jurisdiction, as to whether or not Judge Chutkan was right to dismiss his, right to reject his request for dismissal. So anyway, Judge Pan asked the prosecutor why the government is not contesting jurisdiction, since that would mean the government wins and the case goes back for trial, to which he responded that the government's interest is in seeing that justice is done and in getting the law right, not in gaining a potential advantage in a particular case, which that just goes to show the difference in mindset between the people involved here. Because, like, Trump is desperately scrabbling for anything he can just to get out of this, whereas the prosecutors are like, no, yeah, I know it's not going to be good for our case to let him appeal here, but
we're not interested in winning. We're interested in seeing things meted out.
Yeah, we want to see things done properly. So if we are doing something improperly, I would like the Court of Appeals to determine that so that it can then be done properly. And if they end up losing, like if they end up not having a criminal case against him because of that, then so be it. Now, that's not what would make me happy. But again, like what they point out here, the Justice Department always has to be thinking about what precedent it might be setting and the long-term implications of its arguments. So, like, as badly as I want to see Trump behind bars, if the way they get him there is by setting precedent that is going to lead to dangerous behavior by future presidents and prosecutors or whatever, then I'd rather he not. And so would they.
Let him go through the justice system as it is currently built. Don't try to build it out in such a way that it works better against him, because then that's just bad precedent going forward.
Yeah. And this is kind of like what you were saying last week about the him being taken off the ballot in a bunch of states. Actually, I'm not sure if you said this or if I heard it on a podcast, so maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe it was like we'd almost rather just have him on all the ballots and lose definitively, because if he loses while being off the ballot in several states, then that's just going to be it was a rigged election. I wasn't even on the ballot in a couple states because they rigged it. And then that will potentially...
Then every third-party candidate who's ever existed can call every reason they've lost rigged. And technically, there is something to that statement.
It would no longer be completely unsubstantiated. It would be a true statement that he had less of a chance to win because they removed him from the ballot. Now, that saying, from a law standpoint, I feel like it's pretty cut and dry that if you engage in insurrection, you should no longer be eligible to be elected to the highest office in the country. Like, that seems like just common sense to me. But again, it's one of those...
What's common sense to you and what's common sense to a Trump supporter will likely be incongruous. Oh, look, another hat.
How does this hat even work?
Is it a beanie? Oh, that's not.
It's not quite a beanie. It's like a stylish kind of thing. I don't know.
What is that?
I think it's I think it's like one of those things that's supposed to look kind of like a beret almost.
It looks like it's trying to be chic. Almost. But it feels wrong.
It feels like... Now, when you say chic, that was chic, right? Not Sikh, the religion? Because I feel like it's trying to be a turban.
I can understand how that confusion could be there. I'll let you be the judge of which one it was supposed to be.
I'm going to go ahead and take that off because I'm probably just wearing it wrong, but it does look like it's trying to be a turban, and I don't want to look like I'm trying to look like I'm wearing a turban because that would be problematic.
I did that for an April Fool's video once.
No comment.
Fair enough.
Hashtag cancel Suris.
Anyways.
Yeah, so the court has raised the possibility of exercising hypothetical jurisdiction. So basically, the idea would be, we agree that the question of jurisdiction is hard and we might not have it, but Trump's argument sucks anyway, so we're just going to deny, hypothetically, if we had jurisdiction, he would still lose. So let's just say that he has lost. And that's basically where they seem to be headed with regards to the jurisdiction thing, which I think is amazing. It's like, no, we might not have jurisdiction, but he's going to lose anyway, so just kick it back.
Just let it go.
But also, did you hear the argument that his lawyer was making? Have you heard anything about this?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, so this is fun. So Trump is arguing that the impeachment judgment clause in the Constitution means that a former president may only be criminally prosecuted if he or she was impeached and convicted for the same or similar conduct. So the only time you can prosecute a former president is if they were actually impeached and convicted by the Senate for whatever you're prosecuting them for.
But the only way that you could impeach and prosecute in America is if you happen to have the Senate and the House on the opposite side of the political aisle.
Okay, forget about the forget about the practicality.
Forget about reality.
Forget about the practicality of this for the moment. I have a clip of this. This is Trump's lawyer defending Trump at his last impeachment inquiry. Let's just listen to what his lawyer said then.
Okay. If my colleagues on this side of the chamber actually think that President Trump committed a criminal offense, and let's understand, a high crime is a felony and a misdemeanor is a misdemeanor. The words haven't changed that much over the time. After he's out of office, you go and arrest him. So there is no opportunity where the President of the United States can run rampant in January, at the end of his term, and just go away scot-free. The Department of Justice does know what to do with such people.
So his argument against being impeached when he was still president was literally, if I did something wrong, just arrest me when I'm done being president.
Didn't he get arrested in Georgia after he was done being president?
Yes, and now he's arguing that because they didn't impeach and convict him, that he has immunity. They can't actually do anything about that. So he's literally arguing the exact opposite of what he was arguing when he was being impeached.
Why? What? They have to pretend that reality doesn't exist. Because we do have a world where Trump was arrested. We live in it.
But Suris, you haven't even considered the worst implication of this.
Okay.
So if a president cannot be prosecuted unless they are both impeached and convicted, that means that a president can do literally any fucking thing while in office. And then if they get caught, as soon as an impeachment inquiry starts up, they just have to resign. And now they never got impeached or convicted, so they can't be charged.
Yeah, it creates a loophole that anyone can use.
Yeah. And this means literally, like, they explicitly ask this lawyer, like, that's just the bit in the Constitution. Saying, let's see. Trump's argument is that because this clause refers only to the party convicted at impeachment being subject to later prosecution, that means by negative implication that a party who is not convicted after impeachment cannot be prosecuted. So, Judge Pan asked Sawyer, I think it's Sauer, if his position meant that if a president sold pardons or sold national security information or ordered SEAL Team 6 to murder a political rival, that president could not be criminally prosecuted unless he was impeached and convicted by the Senate. Sauer squirmed, dodged, and weaved, but Pan did a great job pinning him down, and ultimately he had to agree that yes, that was their position. So Donald Trump's argument is literally that Joe Biden could have him assassinated right now and face zero consequences because if he got caught, he could just resign before he was impeached.
Man, I wonder what would happen if Democrats decided to stop going high when they went low. I mean, oh, sorry, wait, no, yeah. I didn't say that here. No,
we're just speaking hypothetically. According to Trump's logic, Joe Biden can assassinate him with impunity, with facing zero consequences, except maybe not being president anymore if he gets caught. Like, that's literally the argument. And they literally, the judge literally, like, this is not hyperbole. The judge literally confirmed that, yes, a president could assassinate a political rival. Like,
and that's an okay thing to do. And the only problem they would have is, well, we wouldn't be comfortable with you keeping the chair of presidency, but like jail might be a bit much.
Yeah.
You got blood on your hands, but it's not that red.
Sakura points out, also, literally a rogue president could assassinate enough senators to preclude removal. So
stack the Senate after killing enough of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is so problematic. Sauer tried to argue that in such a case there would almost certainly be swift impeachment and conviction, so it's not a problem. But that argument doesn't fly. Okay, fine. Another hat. Boy. Another hat. Fine. There we go. The red one's back.
More hats for the Hat Club.
Yeah. So the criminal act may not be discovered in time for impeachment or until after the president leaves office, or a president could order a political rival assassinated, wait to see if the conduct was discovered, and if it was, and he was about to be impeached, he could resign and guarantee himself immunity from criminal prosecution for murder. Like, that's literally, like, that's what Judge Childs noted. This is in the court record. That, like, this is not me being hyperbolic, saying that that's the potential outcome. This is literally a matter of court record that Judge Childs confirmed that, yes, that would indeed be the result of granting Trump his argument. Judge Pierce noted that or was it Judge Pierce or is that the prosecutor? I think that's the prosecuting.
It says Pierce noted.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out who Pierce is, and I feel like Pierce was the prosecuting attorney that was working for Smith. Noted that the consequences of Trump's argument lead us to an incredibly frightening world where a president could engage in criminal acts with impunity so long as he managed to avoid being impeached, either through politics, concealing the crimes, or ultimately resigning, or, as Sakura pointed out, murdering the people that found you. Because then if other people find out about those murders, you get the same options.
Can you imagine being a United States president, having access to one of the best espionage teams of all time, and then holding this information in your hand and wondering, what am I going to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
That's the world Trump wants to live in. He wants to wield.
If this is Trump's argument as to why he gets immunity, I almost have hope that the Supreme Court is not quite partisan hacky enough to actually let this go through. I feel like they would see how this could be bad for them.
This would mean that a president could literally just go,
I don't like the Supreme Court. Let's make them all disappear.
Yeah, what if we just disappeared the entire Supreme Court, stacked it with my people, disappeared the Senate, stacked it with my people? Man, it sounds like I've heard of a couple regimes in the past that might have employed strategies like this.
Yeah, so I feel like even this Supreme Court would notice that this is not the world they want to create. I hope.
I think so.
They have ruled semi-sanely on some things that I expected to go the complete opposite way. So I feel like this would not pass muster with them.
I would hope not. However, I am concerned with the behavior of people like Clarence Thomas, for instance, who are, entirely bought.
Yeah.
Because
that's just a matter of public record at this point.
Yeah, because there are people, lots of people actually, who are willing to do heinous things if it means they are guaranteed a position of safety in the world that they create by engaging in such an act.
Yeah.
And I do not believe that people like Clarence Thomas are above that kind of behavior.
Yeah. Just have to hope. Okay, and yeah, that's it.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.